Welcome back to an episode of Let's Build Twitter. We're in episode 135. As always, if you guys do want access to that private repository, there is a link in the description down below that walks you through exactly how to gain access to that. If you want to see me work on this content live, you can go ahead and hop in. I'm live streaming this just about every Tuesday and Thursday around 9 p.m. Central Time. So without further ado, let's talk about what we worked on today. In this episode, we continue working on the emoji dropdown by setting up the dropdown modal to display the category selection list, as well as getting that first category set of emojis go ahead and display it so the user can select one. As always, I'm Ethan Coder, and let's hop straight into development. Today, we're going to go ahead and continue working on the emoji. So let's go ahead and hop back into the code and just take a look what we can do. So we have our emoji drop down here, and there's nothing inside of it. So let's go ahead and make these into divs. So div, and div, and then this will be a class name equal to emoji dash drop down. And we'll have to figure out exactly how we want to deal with this. So we're going to probably want a position absolute on this. And I'd really like to be able to get it working. So I'm going to go ahead and make a .css for this already. So normally I do all of this styling later, but I want to at least get the drop down showing up. So dropdown.tsx. Oh, actually it's CSS. And then let's go ahead and import that. So we'll go ahead and import, imports / emoji drop down.css. Save this. So let's go ahead and just grab this. So I know exactly how big it is and everything else, or at least I had seen how big it was. So let's go ahead and grab this. So we're gonna say position. We're going to try to do a position absolute. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but position absolute. And then we'll also probably have like a Z index of like 50 or something. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but let's just say 50. Width is 320 px. Height is 400 px. And this guy has like a box shadow on it. Actually, I'm just going to look up CSS box shadows and grab one that looks decent. I'm just going to grab the basic one and paste it in here. Very basic box shadow. And then we get rid of this. And so now we should be able to see it better. So now at the very least, we should have some sort of div in here. So let's just open up our Chrome and see what happens. Okay, so you can see here is, so we'll say top, let's say top like 100% and then left 50%. So let's try to put it in the middle, and we might have to try to test this and do some stuff. And now I lost it, so it might have. Okay, so it went all the way down here. So that's obviously way too far. This is see-through, so we need like a background color of white. Background color of white. So let's go ahead and say border radius 16px. Border radius 16px. Let's also throw a border none on there. So border none just to be safe, and then we just need to get it actually going into where it's supposed to be. So now you can see it's got some rounded corners, and we might need to slightly change the drop shadow, but it is what it is. So realistically it could probably be like 27 and call it a day. And then let's move this to the left a little bit more, so maybe like 35. I swear that we just did 35, but it might need to be like 36, and we're probably not going to get it perfect. I think that's where we're going to leave it, and honestly I want it down a little bit more. So if we did like 27.5 or something, just to get it that little bit more, and I think that we can live with that. It's not perfect. Also, Twitter has like a little like triangle thing, and we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it plain Jane. I'm going to change the box shadow to this one I just copied. This one's going to be a little bit more aggressive, and we might need to just change the color a little bit. So like maybe make this like 0.2 just to get it a little less dark, and now you could see it a little bit better, and I think that's probably good. So now I want to go ahead and start getting some actual emojis and stuff in there. So this has like a top section, a middle section, and then a bottom section. So we'll go ahead and say div class name equal to emoji drop down top. We'll just say, I guess, a div with the class name equal to emoji dash drop dash down dash search border. I think my headphones are dying, unfortunately. We'll have an input, and this one will have a class name equal to emoji dash drop down dash search, and maybe we have an ID equal to emoji dash search. And then we'll need like an on change or a ref or something in here. I think it changes as you type in it. Yeah, so we'll need an on change that we'll deal with later. So on change is equal to this, and we'll set that up a little bit later. I'm trying to think what else we might need on this. I think this might be everything that we need. We also need a search icon. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the material UI, and I'm gonna go ahead and paste it in here. So here's our search icon. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it in there. We'll probably have to change the sizing and stuff, but again, we'll deal with styling a little bit later. Search icon, and then this will need like a display flex to make that work properly, but again, we'll deal with it. And then below the search bar, we have like the different images. We might go back in and either find these specific images or do something else, because we need the actual like PNGs of them. I might go ahead and download this again. So if we come in here, you can see our Apple, Google, Windows, yada, yada, yada. We'll probably just use Windows for all of them. So let's go ahead and go to emoji utils, I guess. And we'll go ahead and do export const generate top row. And we'll go ahead and do this. I'm just going to create an array based off of the other one. So I'm going to say const emojis. Actually, we're going to say import data with images from / assets / list with images.json. So I'm not sure why this one won't work. Interesting. I don't know why this one won't work. Now we're gonna go ahead and say const images is gonna be a string array, and it's gonna equal to a new array. For let I or let image, actually say let emoji. I think it's in emojis underscore img. I always forget for in versus for of. So we're gonna say if emoji dot, and then we want name, so maybe it is of let emojis of. Oh yeah, that's right, because it is an array. I'm just stupid, it's not an object. We want emoji dot name to equal, so emoji equal to 2:00. This is why I wanted to check 2:00. Or so the next one is like grinning, or grinning face. The next one's like a bear, so our name is bear, or name is hamburger, or name is soccer ball, oncoming automobile, or light bulb. This is really ugly, but it is what it is. Or input symbols. And then last one is some sort of flag, triangular flag. I gotta spell it right. I think I spelled it right. So if it's one of those, we're gonna go ahead and push, and we're gonna say images.push, and theoretically we should probably check the supported platform. So whatever the supported platform is, so I'm gonna say supported, and then Apple or Windows, and that should be fine. So we're gonna say image.push emoji dot images, I think images dot, except we can't do a dot, so this is going to be, it's an object, so we should be able to say supported like so. So we're going to push that, and we're going to return this array of images. So we'll see what this looks like. I don't know if it's going to work or not, and I'm hoping there's a way to make it so we can ignore this. Now it's mad about this, so we're going to do that stupid thing again where we say let images equal to any right? And we're gonna have to say equal to emoji dot images, and this is probably not gonna work either, just because of the fact that it doesn't even think that emojis exist. I mean, it went away, I guess. So we'll try that and we'll just see what this returns. Let's go back into our emoji dropdown and let's set up a use effect in here just to test it out. I know I had one in here before and I deleted it, but it is what it is. And set this up, and let's just go ahead and console.log what comes out of generate top row. And hopefully there's like 9 things in there, and hopefully there's 9 images, and then we're gonna have to figure out a way to deal with this. But we come in here, there's a bunch of things in here, but ooh, it says that there's 1800, so that's no bueno. Oh no, that wouldn't make any sense though, but we're gonna have to do this, right? So copy or this or that or this. Although I still don't understand how in the world any of these passed anyway, because these all should have been false, because none of these matched. But let's try again, I guess, and let's see what it pops out this time. Okay, there's 8 this time. I think there should have been 9. So let's go ahead and just throw these in here. So the reason why I set this up is so I can come to the drop down and here, so the top will have a div, the class name equal to emoji dash drop down dash categories, maybe. So that's what these are, our categories. And then let's just go ahead and say, we're gonna say generate top row dot map, and map each image to a div, and we're gonna have a style equal to, and then inside here, let's go ahead and set this up, and we need to return this, so let's return this div and do div, and then we're gonna have a style with background image. There should be background image colon, I think it's like URL maybe, and then it's gonna be image. Do we have to do this? We might have to do this. And this might not even be how we do it either, because also you gotta keep in mind that we're using a whatever the type of image this is. I don't know what type of image this is, I forget. So we might have to wrap it inside of quotes, I guess. So we might have to do something like this, which is really silly. Let's try width and like 20px. Now have the hiccups, and height 20px. Had a coughing fit, now I got the hiccups, excuse me. So background size, so let's go down to background size. Let's try cover. And these are ones that we could add in the, probably in the class that we throw on this later on. Okay, so that works. So yeah, so 2 o'clock does not work. So let's check 2 o'clock. Maybe for some reason they used a weird symbol. Yeah, so that symbol is different and apparently it does not like it. So let's see if it shows up now. So 2 o'clock does show up, but it's not in the right order. So 2 o'clock should be first. We might need to make these all into their own if statements. And this is gonna get gross. So if this, then we want to say images of 0 is equal to emoji dot image, and then so we need to also bring this out, let images like so to the top of this, and then we'll say instead of this we'll say images and then supported, and then do this. So now basically we'll put it where it's supposed to go. So if it's this one, it should go here. If name is grinning face, we can actually just delete this. So if name is grinning face, then it should go images 1. So let's copy this, and this should go images 1. There's probably a lot better way to do this, but it is what it is. If name is bear, then this should go in 2. So images 2 is equal to images support. So let's copy and paste this. And then next is the hamburger. And I have these in the right order, so I can basically just copy paste these. So if our emoji name is equal to hamburger, let's get rid of these. So if our emoji name is equal to hamburger, then it's gonna go into images 3 slot. So copy in images 3. Next, if our emoji name is soccer ball, it's gonna go into emojis 4. And this will be nice because they don't actually get found in the right order. So this will fix this. So 4. And then, and this is really ugly, but I don't really care. Next is if it's oncoming automobile, we'll put it in slot 5. So copy this, paste this, and it will go into slot 5. And then we're almost done here. If it is a light bulb, then it'll go into slot 6. So images 6. Hopefully I didn't miss one. No, I didn't, because it should go to 8, so we're good. And then if the emoji.name is input symbols, then it'll go into slot 7, the second to last. And this is really ugly, I know, but this is the easiest way to make sure that they're in the right order. And finally, if our emoji name is equal to triangular flag, we're gonna push it into slot 8. And let's do this, and do all of this and get rid of that. Return our images. So this made it a lot uglier, but it should be in the correct order now. So let's just go ahead and double check. So now we have the time like we expect. We have this, and this. We want to also make the image black and white in the background. So I'm gonna add one more. So I'm gonna say filter grayscale 100%. We're gonna go ahead and make it like that. And let's see if the background image goes to black and white, or if we're gonna do some other weird tricks. Yeah, so basically whenever it's deactive, we're gonna have it black and white, and whenever we're active, it's going to be the color. Good to go for this. We're gonna do probably a little bit of work to get this fully working, but I think I'm fine with that for now, because I just want to get the emojis up. So div class name equal to, and this is going to be, we'll call this emoji dash dropdown, and this will be called selector, maybe, because this is where all the emojis are going to be. So we're going to have like a recent section, but this is going to be commented out because it's going to be to do. So I'm just going to say to do recent section. And I'm not going to do the recent section at this moment, but then below the recent section, we're going to have a bunch of different sections. So maybe we have a div class name equal to emoji drop down selector section. And then we might also need a ID, and then the ID would be like smileys and people. So these will be the different sections. And then here we're going to map through each of those other things. So first we have smileys and people. And let me look at the other sections that we have really quick. I'm going to copy and paste these. So next one is animals and nature. So copy this, paste this. So this will be animals and nature. So animals and nature. And this is where all those other functions that we created in the previous stream are going to come in handy. After animals and nature, it's food and drink. So food and drink. And the reason why I'm doing these is so we can navigate directly to them. I believe this is a trick that you can basically set it up to navigate to a specific ID. I'm not 100% sure, so we're going to look into that, but I'm pretty sure there's a way. And then also it should allow us to be able to know whenever we have basically intersected, is what I'm trying to think of, because it's also supposed to basically update the selected at the top. So it's going to be important to know when we intersect. So activity. Again, we'll look into doing all of this down the road in a later stream. I just want to get basically all of this stuff popping up. So next is activity in places, or travel in places. But it is also good to have all of this laid out so it's ready for whenever we go through and do all this extra work. Okay, so after travel in places is objects. So objects, change this one. Objects. After objects it is, oh, that was objects. After objects is symbols. Let's copy this. And then this will be symbols. Symbols. And then lastly, it's just called flags, I think. Yeah, last one's called flags. So theoretically, I could have probably made this a special component, and maybe I will go through and make it a special component later on. But for now, I just kind of want to get these displayed, like I said. Whoops, I need to move this outside of top. So let me copy this. I put this in the wrong spot. So this needs to go outside top. So here, and then I don't know why that scuffed so bad. Okay, finally we have the bottom. So div class name equal to emoji dash drop down, and then this will be bottom. And the bottom is gonna have basically a selector, and this is gonna be interesting. I'm not sure how we're gonna do this selector. So basically, last episode we created those things. So generate smileys and people. So we should be able to say dot map, and then let's go ahead and just map. We'll map each emoji. And right now, these are just gonna have, I guess let's just say a div with a class. Sure, div with the class name equal to, I don't know why it's mad at emoji. Oh, it's because I didn't do this all the way proper. So let's fix this. So we'll map emoji, and we're gonna do a div with a class name equal to emoji dash drop down. Oops, drop down dash emoji. And then inside of this guy, what is the problem? I don't know. It doesn't want to close on its own, I guess. We're gonna have the emoji, because this should just be a text. Now let's go ahead and see if we can at least map through, and it's gonna be really bad right now. I'm gonna style it up a little bit just to make sure it looks nicer, but let's just see. Yep, so of course there's some that are kind of scuffed. Obviously, this is supposed to be like sideways, and there's supposed to be some CSS, and that's kind of what I want to work on, is getting this to at least look decent. I really want to get, like, in general, the emojis working. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. So emoji drop down categories. Let's copy this really quick. And we probably do want something on this, but again, we'll do it with some of the nitty gritty later. So we're going to do this. So this is going to be a width of 100%. Height will just be like 32 px. Display will be flex, and we will justify content space evenly, and then we'll also align items in the center. And I don't think we need any padding on this. We might add some, but I think this will probably be fine if we take a peek. If anything, there's like not enough padding, and we could make these a little bit bigger. We could probably make these guys, if we come in here, instead of 20, maybe try like 22 by 22 or something. Although 20 by 20 might actually be what Twitter uses, but we can make it slightly bigger. I think that looks pretty good. So now obviously if it's active or deactive, we want to be able to show like it in color or not color. So basically what we'd want to do is get rid of this filter here, copy this, and we'd want to put a class on this. So class name equal to, and this class name would be different depending on whether or not we'd have to probably figure out or determine which one of these was clicked on to determine which one is active or whatnot. We could have an ID on here equal to we can also have the index. We have an ID equal to the index. Maybe we say set up a use state. So we'll go ahead and say use state. And we'll have to do this, we'll use this for other things as well. So const, we'll say active category maybe. Category, and set active category is equal to use state. And this will be a number, and we'll just start out at like 1 or something, just because whenever you start out, you won't have a recent. And then in here we'll say if our active category is equal to index, then we'll return a div that looks like this. Else, wait, can we not access active category from here? This is what I just tried before, and it said, shoot, whatever. We'll just say this. That's kind of annoying. We'll just convert it to a string. It is what it is. If this will say emoji dash drop down dash category dash active, I guess, and then otherwise will return inactive, and then this will be inactive. Let's copy this. So if it's active and we go into our CSS, if it's active, nothing will happen, right? So I guess we'll have to do some other styling as well. But if it's inactive, copy this. If it's inactive, we want, filter, grayscale, 100%. Then we also need to do like a couple other things. So I guess it also has like a border bottom if it's active. So we can go ahead and do that. Border bottom. And maybe it's not a border, but we'll just try border bottom. And this will be like 1px solid, and it's going to be Twitter blue. So let's grab Twitter blue from our app.tsx, our Twitter blue. Although I don't really think that this is a border bottom, maybe 4px. So I think what this should actually end up being, it's not wide enough either. Interesting. Twitter's is way wider. Okay, but at least it's something. So inside of our emoji selector, although we do need a title at the top of each one of these. So we will have like an H1 or an H2 or something. Last name equal to emoji drop down selector section title, and this one will be smileys and people. We do need that as well, and I'll do the rest of these later. I'm just trying to get this kind of working. So this part is going to have a specific height. So this emoji drop down select will be 255 high. So copy this, come in here, dot this. So width will be 100%. Height will be 240 or 255 px. We're going to have a overflow. Y will be scroll, because it's definitely going to overflow, and I think that's all we really need. So right now we're not going to see any difference. Actually, you can already see we have, I spelled smileys wrong, but you can see we already have the scroll. Let's go ahead and come back in here. So now this section, this emoji selector section, do this, and we'll say width 100%. Oops, 100%. Height will just fit content, and then we're gonna say display flex, and we're gonna go ahead and justify content evenly, space even. We can align item center, sure, and then we're going to go ahead and say flex wrap, and we're gonna wrap. So that should at least start wrapping it a little bit. So way too many per row. So we need to kind of size this up, and we can size it up, and actually we can take a look at how big Twitter's is. Also, I don't know why the heck these came up here. What we might have to do is we might have to say div class name equal to emoji drop down selector emoji wrapper. We might have to grab this guy and throw it straight into the wrapper instead. And then we might have to go ahead and copy this wrapper like so. Whoops, copy the wrapper, come in here, do this, and then we'll get rid of the display stuff like so, and do that. Do we need to say width 100% maybe? Width 100%. Whoops. And we'll go ahead and say height display fit content as well, just for the heck of it. There we go. That's better. That's what we want to see. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for today. If you guys enjoyed, please stick around for the next episode by hitting that subscribe button. You'll know exactly when it comes out, especially with that bell icon. If you did enjoy the content today, please sure to leave a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a thumbs down. Either way, it helps out with the algorithm all the same. And finally, if you have any suggestions or feedback for me, make sure you leave a comment down below. With that being said, I appreciate you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.